You're watching ATN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do a movie review for Cinderella. Yes, Cinderella. So the classic Disney cartoon has been made live action, and I have to say, very, very good job on this movie. A beautiful movie. The cinematography was fantastic. And you don't talk about costume designs too much in a movie until maybe after the fact, but I gotta say, while watching this movie, that stood out quite a bit. The costume design was wonderful, well crafted, and a very, very solid movie. So Cinderella is directed by Kenneth Branagh, who also directed Thor, for those of you who were unaware. Yes, to go from Thor to Cinderella is very interesting, but he pulled it off very well. And Kenneth is a very, very established, not only director, but an actor. He's done a lot of fine work. He's been nominated for Oscars. So it's no surprise that he took this movie and he really did a fine job with it in all spectrums, in my opinion. Lily James plays Cinderella. Richard Madden, there were actually two Game of Thrones alums in this movie. Richard Madden and Nonso Anosi. Richard Madden, as many of you know, played Robb Stark on Game of Thrones, and Anosi was actually, had a much smaller role, but much of you might remember him. He was from the city, I can't remember the city's name now, but if you watch the beginning of the second season, he was in Quarth, I believe the city was called. Now it just kind of hit me. I think that's the name of the city. But he tried courting Khaleesi to marry him, and then later Khaleesi locked him up in a vault with her handmaiden. Very, very large African-American man, very sturdy, very intimidating looking. But let's talk about Cinderella. So Cate Blanchett plays the stepmother, and it was actually a good treat to see Ben Chaplin in the movie as well, in the early going of the movie. I haven't seen him in a movie in a while, so that was a nice treat. And, a very, very good, basically taking Cinderella as we know it and just putting it in live action. But what they did with this film was they made some changes that I thought were for the better. One of the things we find out in this movie is Cinderella's origins. We find out more about her before she became a servant to her stepmother and her sisters. And I don't want to get into too much detail about that because I don't want to spoil the movie. But I thought it was a very, very good addition, and it helped kind of make you see things from a different perspective as to why the things happened the way they did. Cate Blanchett blew it away in this movie. I mean, she is a good actor. When her name's on a movie, you're going to get a solid performance. So it's no surprise, but she really, really did such an excellent job here, not only as being the evil stepmother, but there were even moments in the movie where you kind of felt for her. Because you get this backstory now, you get a better understanding of why she is the way she is. And that's what makes it pretty good. Drizella and Anastasia are not as prominent in this movie as I remember them being in the cartoon version, but that doesn't make them any less annoying. So, and the two actresses whose names escape me at the moment, they did a solid job playing those roles. The costume design, it was just so good in this movie. I mean, even the dorky designs for Anastasia and Drizella were just, as you look at them, you're like, God, I can't believe they're wearing that. But still, when you take it out of the situation, it's actually a well-crafted, well-designed piece of clothing. It's not something you would wear. And yes, you would be embarrassed to wear it. That doesn't make it any less impressive that somebody was able to put that together. So that's another example of just the work that was done on the clothing and the outfits in this movie. It was just incredible. Very, very good job. The cinematography, as I mentioned, was just astounding, especially in the scene with the fairy godmother when she finally comes to Cinderella's aid. That whole scene right there and everything was just magnificent. It was very, very beautifully done. It's a very beautiful movie. It really is. It's a very beautiful movie. They build a very beautiful world with very beautiful people and some very beautiful clothing. It's the kind of movie that you do it's a charming, somewhat over the top, fantasy movie, a fairy tale. It is meant to capture what the cartoon was and just enhance it to a whole nother thing, a whole nother level. Another thing I was impressed about is if you've seen the Cinderella cartoon, you remember that she has animals that are friends and help her, and they talk, and he sings songs. This movie, that was one of my things going in that I was kind of curious about. How exactly were they going to pull that off? And I got to say, they did an excellent job pulling it off, because what they did was they took the animals and they gave you the characters' perspective of the animals the entire movie without taking away the charm and the spirit of what the animals represent. And I don't want to get into too much detail on how they did that. I'd like you to experience that on your own, because it was something that it was a pleasant surprise for me. And when I experienced the interaction, it was good. It was very charming. And it's kind of weird because I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away. If you see the movie, you'll be impressed with how they did it. At least I was, and how they incorporated the animals, the mice and all that into the movie in such a way that they might not necessarily communicate the way you expect them to, but they do so in a way that keeps the spirit of what those characters were and without stripping them at all. And I thought that was really well done. I was really impressed on how they did that. If there's one thing I have to complain about this movie is I kind of do like some of the songs in Cinderella, some of the more funnier ones. For example, if you remember the cartoon, there's a scene where Drizella and Anastasia try to sing "Oh Sweet Nightingale," and it's horrific. And while we have a scene similar to that, there are other songs in the cartoon you're not going to see in this movie. This movie is not a musical. There is maybe one or two, and just to kind of for those moments. But for the most part, if you're going into this movie, and I want to save people who are going into this movie thinking you're going to get a musical number of all the songs that were in the movie, you're not. This is a straight up movie that just takes everything about Cinderella the cartoon, enhances it, gives you a little bit more story on Cinderella herself and her background, and is about the charm and the whole Glass Slipper and Prince Charming and all those things. So, but overall, it was a lot of fun. It actually is the first movie I've taken my daughter to see. My daughter's 3 years old. This was her first experience watching a major motion picture on a big screen. And it was fun not only to see the movie, but to watch her enjoy it. It was a very good vibe in the theater. A lot of younger children there. Not young like my daughter. I think my daughter might have been the youngest, but kids and even adults. There were some people there on dates. Just a fun movie. It's a fun movie. If you enjoy Disney movies, if you've seen Cinderella and you remember liking it, I would definitely recommend going and seeing this movie. It's a good movie, whether you're with your family or whether you want to take your date. It's a good movie. It's a good break. That's what I'm saying from everything else. Also, what I would say too is there's a nice little bonus before the movie. You get a nice short movie of a little Frozen adaptation. It's basically Anna's birthday, and it's a short film with the Frozen characters that everybody enjoyed. I wasn't expecting it, so I thought it was really good. But yeah, Cinderella, fantastic movie. I mean, cinematography, the outfits, the direction, the actors were great. Kate Blanchett stole the show. Lily James did a really good job as Cinderella. Richard Madden was very solid in his role. Overall, just a well-crafted movie by some talented people, and it's not a waste of your money if you're going to check it out. Anyway, that's it for this review. This is Rob signing off for ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching ETN. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Join the nation's Facebook page to meet other subscribers or visit ETN's Facebook page and Twitter page. Links for all are in the description. You're watching ETN, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to do a movie review for Cinderella. Yes, Cinderella. So the classic Disney cartoon has been made live action, and I have to say, very, very good job on this movie. A beautiful movie. The cinematography was fantastic. And you don't talk about costume designs too much in a movie until maybe after the fact, but I gotta say, while watching this movie, that stood out quite a bit. The costume design was wonderful, well crafted, and a very, very solid movie. So Cinderella is directed by Kenneth Branagh, who also directed Thor, for those of you who were unaware. Yes, to go from Thor to Cinderella is very interesting, but he pulled it off very well. And Kenneth is a very, very established, not only director, but an actor. He's done a lot of fine work. He's been nominated for Oscars. So it's no surprise that he took this movie and he really did a fine job with it in all spectrums, in my opinion. Lily James plays Cinderella.